Hey guys, we're back with the window washer drawing. This one I worked on a little bit off camera in between the modeling and then bringing it back into Photoshop, the rendered version. Sorry, my throat is still a little dry. So, if you remember, this is the sketch, the thumbnail with just like some loose lighting thrown on top. I'm sorry, I'm going to try to not cough so much on camera, but it's going to be hard. I just threw like a random color over top on a new layer and set it to screen. And then I brought in the rendered version of our set. There's just a few little differences in this version to the one that you guys saw me work on. I made the flower pot bigger to match the one that I had drawn, and I also sort of cleaned up the windowsill. I gave it a little bevel here, and I forget what that board's called. Sometimes there's like a decorative board that extends below the window, especially if there's like a ledge or something. I forget what that's called, but I also added a decorative bevel to that, and yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean up the line art. Only a little bit of it is actually going to survive to the finished piece, but yeah, it will give us a good foundation to work from. Also, the bricks look really, really good. I hadn't tried that method before, so I'm glad I did it on camera, but like just roughing up the edges a little bit, I think it makes them look a lot more natural. So yeah, okay, so what we're going to do is the blue layer is going to help us get to, whoops. I just set the line art to multiply, and so then what we're going to do is we're going to just make this as big as, I'm also going to turn it just slightly, and we're going to try to match our sketch. So one thing I'm already noticing is looking at this line art. It's probably a little hard for you guys to see. Let me make this a little lighter. So looking at the line art over top of the sketch I did, I'm starting to see that I don't really like how close this edge is to the edge of my composition. So I think I'm going to, how big is this? 8 by 12 inches. I really don't want to resize it anymore because I really, really like this size. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the whole composition just slightly over. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. That's a little more centered and nice and beautiful and wonderful. I'm just going to crop that. Okay. So we still have some more work to do. You're going to notice that when you pan way in here, or zoom way in, I shouldn't say pan, this is really pixely, and there's like a lot of artifacts and whatnot because I'm working with an image that just wasn't the right size, and you know, yeah, it looks gross. So what we're gonna do is I'm actually going to go to my magic wand tool, and I'm gonna uncheck anti-alias, uncheck contiguous, and I'm gonna select the white and delete it. And because the white is multiplied, you can't even tell I did that, but that's okay. And then I'm going to lock the layer and fill what's left with black. Okay, and I know everybody's like freaking out now. Everyone's like, oh god, look at that. Look at how pixely it looks now. I know. Don't worry about it. I'm going to step back a little bit. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to stroke this, I think just by 1. Yeah, so there it is, with and without. Yeah, that just makes the lines a little thicker. And depending on like the style you're going for, you may not want to do that. But like I said, a lot of this line art is not really going to survive into the final version. That's okay. And then, I'm going to look at it closer again. So yeah, it still looks kind of like funky and choppy or whatever. Like you can still really see like the individual blocks of pixel. So let's go to our filter gallery and see if we can find us a nice little filter and smooth that out. I have no like way that I do this every single time, but I do have a few different versions that I go through, like a few different filters that I use over and over. And one of the filters is paint daubs. And I'm not very good at explaining what each of these does. You just have to kind of mess around with them to get what you're looking for. So yeah, this is definitely not something we're looking at. Basically what I go for is just to try to get it to be kind of softer. I like it when the edges sort of blend a little more. Wow, we don't want white sharp. What a sparkle. Again, this is not like something that's going to be in the final version. Oh, and you will get a little bit of choppiness if you're using a lot of cylinders. It's just the way it is. I haven't found a good workaround about that, or with that, I mean. Or a palette knife. So it's too soft for me. This usually takes me a little while to just sort of mess around. See if there's anything that really speaks to me. I think I'll just go with paint daubs, and I'll just set it to like its finest setting, like right in there somewhere. And then I think I have my sharpness turned off because I don't want it to be super sharp. I just want it to be okay. There we go. I think that's like a neater, nicer way to look at it. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. And then I think, so these lines here going across this decorative edge are actually where individual polygons and faces are making up this curve, and they look kind of gross. So I'm gonna get rid of, oh, my brush is blobby. Okay, no, it's not. I don't know why I did that. So we'll just come along in here. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just don't want to break. In fact, I might leave a little bit of it as like wood grain. Oh, and I apologize if you can hear my heater. It is quite cold here today. It's been really rainy. Okay, that one looks fine. And there should be sort of like a cluster in here. You can see like the top edge of the bricks and like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the top edge of the window border. I'm actually just gonna black out the bricks and make this whiter because there's gonna be light shining down onto that edge there, and you don't want, there's, again, it's polygons and edges all meeting, and so when it renders it just looks like a big black line. And you'll lose too much information in your lighting and stuff if you just leave it, so I'm just gonna kind of clean that up. Also, I've been asked a lot about like having a steady hand. I actually don't think I have that steady of a hand, but it comes with practice, you know. My old work is not fantastical by any means. So there was a mask there. I'm just gonna get rid of it because you can barely see it. Okie dokie. So there are lines where I measured things. I'm actually going to leave them, though I am going to kind of chop them up a little bit. This is going to be where our window panes go. So like this is okay, but since you're looking through the window at this part, I'm going to kind of like soften it by like hatching it up a little bit so that it looks more sort of filmy, or like I'm trying to think of a good word. It has a translucence to it. Also, there's like little places that didn't render correctly. Just kind of finish those off. This should come out a little more to match the other one. Okay. Oh, and we never drew the caps. So I'm actually going to switch to a little bit rougher of a brush to match the look of this. Cool. Alright, and then let's draw our tree. And we're going to do this with my stroke trick. Sorry, I'm just having a little trouble seeing. Now, trees don't naturally grow quite like this, but that's okay. This is more of like a fantasy sort of way of looking at trees. I don't want that one there because it'll get all bound up in that in like these lines here. If I put a little branch there, it's gonna look weird. You know, it's gonna look like it's touching or something, and it's too far forward to do that, so we're not gonna do that. Okay, I think that looks good. And then we will make this white, and then we will delete the bottom portion. First, it's just a little bit cleanup I need to do. Right there. Yeah, right there is too thin. I want the branches to end inside the brick area in the background, because that way you'll really be able to see the branches a lot better. Okay, so still needs a little, there we go. I think I'm also gonna put like a crack in the pot. The pot's really leany over here, so I'm actually going to make this upper lip leaning in this direction, so that looks a little more balanced. That was something unavoidable. Well, if I was careful, I could have fixed the leaniness, but I decided to say nope. I really hate that the edge of that pot sits there, but that's just the way it is. Okay. So I think now we should do the, excuse me, I am so sorry that I am just coughing and hacking. I'm a big old baby. I'm going to put another color over, and I'm going to say screen. I'm going to lock that layer, and then I'm going to draw some masks. So let's see here. These are not supposed to look like anything in particular, just sort of strange. They're just peeking in. And I'm sure somebody out there wants me to do like Jason's mask or something. I don't want it to be like that. Maybe these are like supposed to be her or something to that nature. So I kind of want them to have their own look about them. Sorry, I'm being a little quiet. Just concentrating. So in places like this, where I've gotten rid of the brick, I'm going to have to just draw it in. And to be honest, I'm really not going to do like a super bang up job of drawing the bricks back in behind the mask, because it sort of helps set it forward a little bit. And since a lot of this is going to be painted kind of dark in here from the shadow of the bricks and the shadow of the mask, you're not really going to see a lot of detail on the lines. What are some of the... One sec. I'm not texting, I'm just trying to organize my layers. Let's see, what other masks I have. I didn't really have very good ones. These just look like how I do my thumbnails in general, so we're just gonna have to make some stuff up. I did like the one that was like, It was sort of like that. It was like sort of a screaming mask. It looks a little bit like the Deku mask, or maybe like a Shy Guy. Nothing strikes terror into the heart of your viewers like a Shy Guy. No, Shy Guy, no, don't kill again. Well, I think I'm going to continue working on these masks, and then I will bring you guys back in when I'm a little further along, and I'll show you what I've done. Alright, I'll see you guys in a little bit.